well.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so the topic of the day is the new felony DUI law that goes into effect in Colorado in August 2015. What do the Colorado citizens need to know about that?
Okay, well, first of all, this law is a product of a great deal of lobbying over the last several years. Prosecutorial groups and certain organizations were pushing for it. A lot of defense lawyers like myself and other people were fighting against it. We finally lost that battle, and this was signed into law. It comes into effect August 5th of this year, 2015. After that date, if you get a fourth DUI conviction in a lifetime, that can be charged as a felony offense. And I think you have to count it certainly being charged as a felony offense, which means the difference between a felony and what a DUI now is, which is what's called a traffic misdemeanor is, a felony offense can land somebody in prison. Now, you also can be charged with a felony offense on a third offense under a certain I'll give you the circumstances, but if you have a third conviction in 7 years, so basically the first conviction has to be, and the second conviction, and the third, all within 7 years, and there was any property damage or any damage to a person, obviously, but property as well, so just a small accident, whatever, or a hit-and-run situation, or if someone under the age of 18 was in your vehicle when you got this third, or if your BAC was 0.150 or higher. Any of those, if you have a third offense inside 7 years, that can also be a felony and also open to the exact same penalties as a fourth or more. So, so the thing to realize is that if you're driving in Colorado, first of all, the convictions count for any other state as well as inside this state. So it doesn't matter where you got them or when you got them. If it's your fourth or more. So you need to be aware of that, and it could be as few as 2 prior convictions if they're close in time, 7 years, and in any of these other circumstances are applicable. Something else to think about is that this felony DUI will kick in, and people think about DUIs. Well, it's charged with DWAI as well, so you got to be aware of that. Any alcohol-related conviction is going to, if it's a fourth, is going to be considered a felony. Now, the court can sentence you have the authority to sentence you to a bunch of ranges, but it's anticipated that there'd be up to 1,000 people in prison because of this, in perhaps as little as 2 or 3 years, at the cost of roughly $42,000 per person, or a total of maybe a few million, I would anticipate, is what the legislature expects, and probably more depending on how they're sentenced. So, I always tell people, if you have a single prior, you should have a zero tolerance policy with any drinking and driving in your life, with any prior. But if you have one, but especially if you have 2 priors, you could be charged with a felony offense. And even if you are able to dodge prison, you're still going to be a convicted felon at the end of that. And even if you get probation or a halfway house sentence, it's not going to be something that you can live with easily. So I think we always have to be cognizant of the dangers of drinking and driving, but as somebody who already has a conviction, it's a separate thing. They have to be aware of the dangers to themselves, which is this will challenge your freedom, and so very important. And you need to be. I think everyone needs to be aware of that, and anyone with any prior should just have. My advice is having zero tolerance with any amount of alcohol and driving.
Great. Well, thank you very much, David. That was incredibly informational, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
All right, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.